finger off the trigger. But if you hold the trigger, you're gonna let off a little bit. You won't hear the click, but you'll feel it. Essentially, when you feel that click again, you can pull the trigger again. Now, it may seem like it's not doing much, but if you see my finger is only moving 1/8 of an inch, instead of going all the way back out and all the way back in. Now, what it's doing is it's taking the weight out of the trigger. So it's going from, well, this is double action, single action, so it's irrelevant. But it is taking the travel out of the trigger. So I don't have to travel all the way back here to pull the trigger again. For other guns, it takes the weight and the travel out of the trigger. Because if you're using a Glock, it's single action only. Every shot, if you let off, is going to be 12 pounds, 11.5, 12 pounds, somewhere around there. Now, what that means is when it's a harder trigger pull, it's harder to stay on your target during that travel and pull. Because as you're pulling, you're shaking, the front sight is moving, the rear sights are moving, and you're trying to keep them on target the whole time. But if I take away that, and I pull the trigger from here, now I just wait till I'm on target, pull the trigger, it's a 5-pound pull, I can focus on the front sight. The front sight is the last thing that you should see before the trigger breaks. The front sight. Target should be fuzzy, back sight should be fuzzy, front sight should be crystal clear. Does that make sense? I know it's hard to, because as soon as everyone fires the first round, what do? They start looking at their target because they want to see where they hit. Then when they go to shoot the second round, they're still looking at their target because they want to get close to the round that they just shot. Or they want to adjust from the round that they just shot. And now you're looking at your target instead of your front sight. If you have to shoot center mass, you want your front sight right there. So, front sight lined up with the rear sights. So the top level of front sight is level with the rear sights. If the front sight is higher than the rear sights, then you're gonna shoot high. If the front sight is lower than the rear sights, then you're gonna shoot low. If you don't have an equal amount of light on either side of the front sight, so you have too much on the right and not enough on the left, you're gonna shoot right or left. Does that make sense? If it's an equal amount of light, center mass every time. Level, equal amount of light. Focus on the front sight. If you can see that your front sight is cutting your target in half, you don't have to focus on your rear sight and the target. You can see the silhouette of the rear sight where you're supposed to be shooting. Now, if you're all over the place,
Hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be